What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some.
That's like we took our kids this past Halloween. We took them to a white couple's house to go trick or treating. Right? All the kids went out trick or treating, came back with the candy. We told all the kids, we said, "Look, before you eat any candy, you gotta eat dinner." White kid looked at his mom and he said, "Yeah, I want to eat dinner." She's not. "You gonna eat dinner?" He goes, "I ain't gonna eat dinner, Mom. Watch me." I was like, "Oh shit! Somebody needs to go to Denny's for dinner tonight. Somebody needs a little Denny's for dinner." I don't know why my son thought he could follow suit. Here comes my son. He goes, "Yeah, I don't want to eat." He didn't get to the word eat. His mother came around the corner. "Remember who your mother is." "Yeah, I'm ready right now, matter of fact. Yeah, I'm starving." "Yeah, give me the whole meatloaf. Don't even cut it. Give me the whole loaf." "Yeah, I am starving. I need some meatloaf."
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, #Get Some, or search United We Cast. Or you can watch it on my YouTube page, youtube.com/GaryOwenCom, and you might get to see some visuals, some pictures and videos. Last week, I went to my, in Ohio, just like every other state, they have high school state tournaments for basketball. So I went to my old high school, was playing a school called Moeller. And to give you an idea of the difference in athletic ability in these schools, Moeller is where Ken Griffey Jr. went. Barry Larkin, numerous NFL, pro baseball, numerous Division I college basketball players. My high school, Talawanda High School in Oxford, we've had one Division I football player in the last 15 years. One. And he's at Miami of Ohio right now. He's going into his senior year. His name is Maurice Thomas, and he's actually a really good ball player. So if you come this upcoming football season, if you watch Miami of Ohio, because sometimes they'll be on like ESPN 17, you can see Maurice play. I actually went to a Miami of Ohio game last year in November, and it was like one of them ESPN 3 games. It was on a Thursday, and it was so depressing because it was so empty. One, it was freezing. I get it. And the teams were both average. I think they were playing Akron. And it was just, nobody was in the stands. I go, it looked like a JV game. It's kind of, and there were some good ball players out there. It had nothing to do with the guys on the team. It was just, I guess when it's cold, you're in the Mid-American Conference, and when you realize you're not really playing for a bowl game anymore, people stop coming. Because I heard when Ben Roethlisberger was at Miami of Ohio, those stands were packed. Similar to basketball when Wally Szczerbiak and Ron Harper was at Miami of Ohio. Man, those games had some energy and was packed. But I got sidetracked. What I was getting at was I went to my old high school game. Final score, Moeller 71, Talawanda 20. And it could have been worse. Moeller jumped out to a small 26-0 lead. And I think halftime was 40-2. I think it was 40-2 at half. And you got to realize, though, Talawanda is my old high school, is a bunch of farmers and rural kids and all white. And Moeller's got this guy, Jackson Hayes. He's 6'11", going to Texas. They got this other guy named, last name's Davenport. He's going to Wright State. They got a kid going to Indiana Wesleyan. They got another kid going somewhere for football. They're just stacked. And what's crazy about Moeller, their best, like, pure just basketball player is a kid named Miles McBride. He's a junior. He's coming back next year. He didn't play. He's the quarterback in football, and he broke his foot, and he already committed to West Virginia. He's going to West Virginia off a freshman and sophomore year of game tape, and I'm sure he played a lot of AAU ball, but he didn't even play this year. And Moeller is like annihilating teams because they could have easily scored 100. Moeller, if they would have kept their starters in the whole game. But me and a buddy of mine from high school dressed up. here's the funny thing. We had all these chants and sketches we were going to do after Talawanda scored. Well, they only scored once in the first half. We only got to do one of our sketches. So I think because we took a page out of like Nebraska and these other schools that when the guy scores, you see they call them the bench mob. They be having fun. We just made up our own. We did one. My favorite was The Walking Dead. We did the Walking Dead one. We did fishing where I was like a fish and he was reeling me in. The Walking Dead was I was a zombie and my buddy stabs me in the head and I go down like I was right when I was about to bite him. We did a classic. We did like yoga. We did squats that we were working out. We did the kid and play, and then we had signs already made up that rated Moeller's dunks because we knew it was going to be a dunk fest. So we were getting like 5s and 2s. And then and we didn't show this on the tape, but the last one we did, we held up a sign that said "Not fair." And the funny part about the whole game was at one point Moeller had four black kids in and a white kid. And then Tawanas, they're all white. So I almost got a chant going, said, "We need more black kids. We need more black kids." But you can't do that in this environment because it's racially sensitive. But I was like, dude, that's so funny to me. But if the chant would have gained life and like the crowd started doing it, there would have been somebody complaining. And the funny part is it probably would have been a white person would have complained because black people that know me and even the chant, if you really look at its core, it's funny because look at the NBA, look at college basketball. There's just more black players. Or I could have got a chant that could have said, "We should be playing hockey." To me, I love jokes like that. That's funny to me. But you can't do that, especially in the Southern Ohio, Cincinnati area, because that's the same area where, I don't know if you guys heard about a month and a half ago, there was a school district called Kings School District. It's about 30 miles north of Cincinnati. And the coach there, and it was intramural league, but he had racially insensitive names on the back of his team's jerseys. And I'm not even gonna say what they are because they're that bad. And so he acted like, oh, he didn't know the kids made up the jerseys. It was, he'd been wearing the jerseys all year and now somebody complained. And the team got kicked out of the intramural league. But here's where it gets bad. The coach asked for a refund on the jerseys. He was like, yeah, I paid for these jerseys and now we can't play the rest of the year. And he asked for a refund for the league. Like he wanted his money back because I guess it was like $150 for your team to join the intramural league. He wanted his money back. And it just lets you know how clueless people are to be in insensitive. But I always like to pride myself on, even in my stand-up, like I know how far to push the envelope without being offensive. And to me, a chant going, "We need more black kids," I just think that's funny. But if anybody would have been offended, it probably would have been somebody's dad whose son was on a team getting their ass kicked. Is probably who would have been offended by it. But like those jerseys that this intramural league in Cincinnati were there, those were offensive if you read them. But I thought we had some original sketches, and 71-20, woo! I tell you, recently, I have, since I've started my podcast, I start listening to other podcasts, and I really start listening to people getting interviewed and good interviewers. And I think my favorite by far is The Breakfast Club when they have comedians on. The Breakfast Club, when they have comedians on and they press them and comedians get honest with their opinions, I eat it up. I love it because they had Faison on last month. He went in on a lot of people, but people got on Faison. But I was like, he was giving his opinion on things. And that's why if you look at the Breakfast Club's YouTube page, Faison's got a lot of hits because when you're honest and you speak your honest opinion, people say you're a hater. Yeah, I mean, there's some bitterness. I thought there was some bitterness that came out and what Faison was saying. but I didn't think he was a hater. I just think he gave his honest opinion on things. And there is a little bit of truth when he is talking about people, because what he said was, he goes, white people and Netflix, you know, they pick out certain black comedians that they said, we're gonna fuck with that dude. And they take off. And he said Chappelle was that guy. Chris Rock is one of those guys. And even Kevin, you know, Kevin's he's crossed over, but he's so huge right now. But somebody said something on my Twitter feed. They said Dave Chappelle, white famous, Chris Rock, white famous, Kevin Hart, white famous. And then they said Gary Owen. They was like black famous. And they said equals no Netflix deal, equals no stand-up specials that they're doing. And I was like, there is some validity to that, because I'm black famous, and so far, as far as like white entertainment famous, I'm not. But this is the beauty of the day and age we live in, and this is what I always tell comics. You know, when I first got in the business, before I even ever told a joke, I saw an interview with Mario Van Peebles, and he had said when he started making money, when he first came into some money, he would buy cameras and film and backdrops and green screens. He would buy all this stuff because he was like, I would be able to make my own movies and make my own projects. And I'm sure a lot of them didn't sell. I'm sure he's got a lot of film that is only in his personal use. But when I saw that interview, I said, that's what I'm going to do. If I ever get enough money, I'm just going to do my own things if other people don't want to do them. And I've heard a lot of people say, you never put up your own money for projects, ever. And I was like, no, you can put up your own money. I would just be like, don't make it your last bit of money, because you still got to live. Because Mel Gibson gave a great interview when they was talking about Passion of the Christ. And I don't know how much he put up, like 10 million, 100 million, something like. He put up an enormous amount of money out of his own pocket. And somebody said, that was a huge risk. He goes, let's put it in perspective. It wasn't my last 10 million. So he was like, if that movie didn't make a dime and never saw the light of day, I was going to be okay. He was like, but there's a huge difference between that and like James Cameron mortgaging all his credit cards and maxing everything out to do Terminator. That's when you're putting all your eggs in one basket. When I got my first Holden deal with Quincy Jones back in 2000, and he just wrote me a check it was six figures. I'm not gonna say how much, but it was low six figures. And my manager at the time said, Gary, this ain't normal. Normally you have a lot of negotiating, it's back and forth, and you get your money in increments. We'll give you 50,000 now. We'll give you 50,000 in 6 months, and then we'll give you another 100,000 if the project goes. And there's all these different stipulations. Now, I went over to Quiz's house, and he literally wrote a check out. Like, this lady came down, gave him a checkbook, and he wrote a check out. And it was the biggest check I'd ever seen at that point in my life. And I took that check, and I did two things with it. One, I'm a little embarrassed. I bought a big screen TV, because I always thought growing up, if you had a big screen TV, you have made it. And this is before flat screens. This was like 2000. I thought it was the biggest fucking TV you've ever seen in your life. And it was wide. It was a big screen, but you couldn't get it through our front door. It went so deep. Luckily we had a sliding glass door, and we had to slide the glass, and the guy had to roll it in, came off the back of the truck. You didn't just put it in the back of your car like your flat screens do. No, it got delivered, and it was heavy. It was just so massive. And it was literally like the next year flat screens started to come in. And now my big screen looked obsolete. It reminded me of when I bought a GMC Denali in 2004. And then 2005, they changed the body type. So like 3 months after I bought a brand new Denali, it looked like I had an old ass Denali. Because everybody started driving the new shit. And I go, they changed the frame? Like the front grille? That's the big part of the car. The front grille got changed. So I got this new Denali that looks old after 3 months. But I'm getting, sorry, I always get sidetracked on my stories. I think when you listen to my podcast, you get a story, but there's 3 stories within a story till you get the end of a story, if that makes any sense. I'll start a story, tell 3 more stories, and I'll come back to the original story that I was going to tell. But what I was getting at, in this day and age, when you hear like, when that guy sent me that link and said, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, white famous. And I was like, I go, I think there's some validity in that where in white entertainment, if once they decide they're going to, they're messing with you, the sky's the limit. But with that being said, in the age of YouTube and podcasts and everything else, there's so many other outlets for your voice to be heard. And that's why when I don't want to go back to Monique, but when she had the issue with Netflix, instead of me, I'm just going to keep it moving. Because I've said numerous times, Netflix, I don't have a Netflix deal. I've never had a stand-up special. And they can go to my track record. I sell tickets on the road. I mean, I just did the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in November and sold it out. 4,000 tickets in Dallas, New Year's Eve at the Verizon. Went to my hometown and sold out the Taft Theater in Cincinnati. And every time I do comedy clubs, we're adding shows because we sell out the original allotted amount. Usually I'll come in and I'll be contracted for 6 shows. It's rare I don't end up doing 8, 9, 10 shows in a weekend when it's all said and done. But that's why I love doing the podcast because, it gives you an out. It gives you a way for your voice to be heard that isn't stand-up. And the same with YouTube. You got guys, people are getting TV and movie deals off their social media, off their videos on YouTube. I read for a pilot 2 years ago, and it was a Netflix show, and I haven't seen it. It was brutal, the script I got. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the goal was. I still went in an audition for it, didn't get it. But this girl had a huge following on YouTube, millions of followers. And when I went to her page to like research before I read for the pilot, I still didn't get it. But I will say the production was unbelievable. And what she was doing was a character that she was sticking to. I just didn't understand it. But just because I didn't understand it doesn't mean the show wouldn't be any good because there's millions of people that do understand it. I just didn't get it. I wouldn't watch it, but other people are. So I can't knock the girl. I went and auditioned. I didn't get it, but I was just like, I don't get it. But she found an audience and she took that audience and Netflix gave her a TV show. I haven't seen it on Netflix. I think she just shot a pilot and it must have not went. That's why I in today's day and age, there's really no excuses for you to be mad and bitter because you're not getting a deal at Showtime or Comedy Central or HBO or Netflix. Do your own. Do a Louis C.K. Louis C.K. did his own and put it up on his website. Do your own special and put it on YouTube. And honestly, as a comedian, you shouldn't be doing jokes 2-3 years later that you didn't get. One of the reasons I did Def Jam this year is I knew when I got asked to get up on stage, I was like, I did a Bill Maher joke and I did some jokes on Trump that a year from now aren't going to be current events, aren't going to be as topical. And I just kind of want to get it out there on film. And I just want to make sure when my time comes and I'm done doing stand-up or I'm old and I pass away, whatever, I want to make sure I have a library of jokes that people will go back to and be like, okay, that guy was funny. That guy was really funny. And that's why I think I enjoy the Breakfast Club interviews so much, getting back to Faison's, because, Jeff Ross went on there, gave a great interview. Sinbad went on there, did a great interview. And I find myself, I got ADD, ADHD. I think I got them both. I think I got ADD, ADHD. Well, there might be a B, a Z, and a Q in mine. I get so sidetracked. But for me to sit down and listen to an interview and not realize that I just listened to 35, 40 minutes of somebody talking. And that's why a lot of people get on Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club because, a lot of people say he's an asshole, but I just think he's brutally honest and he doesn't back down. I mean, Birdman came in. You gonna put respect on my name because Charlemagne got brutally honest. And I think when you got so many yes men around you and so many people in your ear telling you how great you are and this is right, Charlemagne calls it for what it is. And I like that, And I didn't know what to think of it when I first met him. And then when I met him, I go, oh, he's a cool dude. But just know he's not gonna BS you. A lot of people can't handle that. They can't handle, I just like hearing the comics on there talking about that stuff, about real comics and what they really feel about certain comics. Even Michael Blackson and Kev, when Kev got interviewed and he talked about Michael Blackson going at him when he had the Vegas thing happen. It's funny when comics get in their feelings when people talk about them. And I never do. I never get in my feelings. I just try to process what you say. I take it in when people criticize me. And then I really try to think about, was he right? Or was he being a hater? Or did I do something wrong? Or am I messed up? I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't know. I talked about Kevin last week in my podcast, how I didn't agree with the bagging on players going up for the All-Star game. If it got back to Kev and Kev listened to it, I would think we got a good enough relationship, strong enough. Like if he didn't agree with it, we probably end up laughing about it when it's all said and done. But that was just my opinion. Doesn't mean I don't think Kevin's funny. I've done shit that hell, I did a few things in my life I'm probably not proud of. I did a pilot years ago that was so bad, and I was like, woo! and I'm in the middle of shooting this pilot. Like, if this gets picked up, I don't know if I want to do this. I got fired. I'll tell you, two instances I got fired. I had a my first time I ever did a table read. I had a show. I was developing this show with a lady named Yvette Lee Bowser, who was the creator of Living Single. And this is like 2002, 2003. And I had never did a table read before. And what a table read is when you on a TV show or movie, usually they'll get the whole cast together. And right before you go shoot, we'll do a table read. And just so everybody gets to know each other and you can finally get your character out amongst the other characters. And you just read off the script. They do it for movies, TV shows, everything. Well, up to that point in my career, I had never did a table read. So I go in for a table read for my own TV show with Yvette that we're trying to sell. And I try to memorize the whole script. I don't know. Yeah, you just go in and read the script. So I'm studying for like a week. I'm reading this script. And I come in a little cocky, like, all right, it's my show. Welcome. Holly Robinson Pete she was going to play my wife. Essence Atkins is going to play her friend. They had Robbie Perrone was going to be her best friend. It was a solid cast, right? So we go in a table read to read for I think deal was at Warner Brothers at the time. I think Warner Brothers, and we were going into UPN to do we were going to do a table read for UPN because they really wanted to see it. So CW now, but it's UPN back then. So we do the table read, and about 10 pages in, I started to forget my lines. Because it was, you got damn near 40 pages, and I'm like trying to not remember. I'm trying to deliver them. Like I'm overacting. It was brutal to the point where at one point I lost my place and I had to like stop the thing and look at my script and try to find where we was at. So this is why I know Hollywood is kind of full of shit too. We get done with a table read and I knew it was bad. I was bad. Everybody else was good. I knew I was bad. Everybody clapped. Everybody's like, good job, everybody. Great job. We'll call you this week when we get the actual time we're going to read for UPN. Great job. I'm looking around like, did you motherfuckers see me? I was terrible. I knew I was terrible. Long story short, they went into UPN. They did a table read. I wasn't there. I didn't play myself. They brought Jason Bateman in to read for me for my part. So if thank God the show didn't get picked up. If the show would have got picked up, it honestly could have been the Gary Owen show starring Jason Bateman. But in the room, they clapped like, great job, everybody. Unbelievable. I'll never forget a vet took me in her office and kicked her feet up like a disappointed mother. She was like, oh, what happened? She said, what happened? I go, I tried to memorize it. I didn't know you were allowed to read. Nobody told me. I had never done a table read before. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I remember I had to call my wife like, I think I fucked up. I fucked up the whole show. And the show didn't go. And then right afterward, like literally a month later, Yvette she went in with that show to UPN and walked out with the show half and half. But a month later, she got half and half. And I remember her calling me basically saying, I'm not giving up on our show. They wanted me to do this other show. And she goes, I'm just going to see what they're thinking about. But there's no doubt she did that show because of that table read. Because I was so bad. Because I really think she believed in me. And I really think the show would have been funny and good with us together. I enjoyed the developing process with her. And I fucked up. I fucked up the table read. There's no other two words about it. That show died at that table read. But I just didn't know. I didn't know. Nobody ever told me I didn't know what the hell table read was. I was like, yeah, we're going to table read at 3:00 on Monday. Well, okay. They said, oh, here's your script. Nobody told me you just come in and read. And let me tell you something. I ain't had a bad table read since. And people will tell you, when we did the table read for Think Like a Man, I was so ready. And I didn't have a lot of lines in the thing, but I made sure I hit those lines. And I did some ad-libs that I knew was within the structure of the movie. And when we left that table read, I remember Will Packer was meeting with Clint Culpepper, who was the head of Screen Gems at the time. And he was like, yo, we got to get Gary more lines. We got to make this part a little meatier for him because of the table read. So in that instance, the table read helped. But that show I had with a vet, wow. Jason Bateman as Gary Owen. And I remember thinking at the time, Jason Bateman, he ain't done nothing in a while. And look at Jason Bateman now. That's why you never know. You never know in this business. That's why I love this business too. I mean, I can get a phone call today that could change everything. You can't tell in this business, man. That's why I love it. Like Jamie Foxx told me years ago, he goes, it's the biggest temp job. It's the biggest temp job in the world is the entertainment business. But again, if you get a chance, obviously listen to my podcast and watch it. But do yourself a favor if you like stand-up. And if you're listening to my podcast, I assume you like stand-up. Look up The Breakfast Club. And whenever you see a stand-up get interviewed, Jeff Ross, Faison, D-Ray, Kevin, Marlon, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, they're you know what they do? They're not trying to throw you under the bus. They're not trying to expose you, so to speak. They're just going to talk about the stuff that people want to hear about. And that's why I like it. I'm actually booked. I'm doing The Breakfast Club March 27th. I'm looking forward to it. It'll probably air on March 28th. But I know why I'm coming on. They want to talk about the Monique stuff, I'm sure. And I was thinking, I was talking about Think Like a Man and the table read. And then it's funny because I'm doing this podcast early in the morning today. And when I woke up, I woke up to this show. I fell asleep with the TV on. And I was watching this thing called Whitney Houston, Can I Be Me? And it's on Showtime. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I just started watching. I ended up watching the whole thing. And I should have probably went back to bed for a little bit. But it was so good. And it reminded me of when Whitney Houston died was the day after we did the red carpet and the premiere for Think Like a Man, the first one. And it's always something I never forgot because I remember I woke up on should have been on cloud 9 and be like, dang, that was Think Like a Man. It was my first big red carpet where you had a feeling in your bones that this movie was going to be special and big. So I woke up, and then that was the news I woke up to the day after in our hotel room in LA, me and my wife laying there. And then I woke up like, no way. Whitney Houston died. And we were staying right down the street from that hotel. And when I tell you that the next day we drove by the Beverly Hilton where she passed away, there was already so many flowers and stuffed animals and everything. Like people just mobbed there's that corner of that hotel and where the street is. And there was just so many memorials to her. It was crazy how much that was. And that's what I remember about that Think Like a Man premiere. Two things I remember is Whitney Houston died the next day, and Diddy, Puff Daddy, I didn't see him. I woke by him, and he had said, "Good job, man." And I gave him the fan. Thanks, bro. I never even looked at him because I didn't pay. It was so crowded in the lobby of the theater. And then my wife goes, Diddy just said, "Good, congratulations and good job," and you kind of gave him the fan. Thanks, bro. Kept it moving. Good job. No shit. I had a slight blow off of Diddy. My apologies. I didn't even look. But yeah. And I want to give an update. I was listening to one of my past podcasts, and I was talking about my brother, the one that got busted with the drug possession charge. And February 6th, he was going to get sentenced. That got put off. I found out he was in a rehab. He went into rehab. So they pushed it to February 20th. So now March 13th is the big day. My brother's going to go to court. Either he's going to plea or he's going to say, I want to go to trial to see how much I'd imagine he's going to plea. I don't know, but I don't know. And then I found out this ties into a crazy stepdad story. I don't want to go a whole episode without it. But we found out that my stepdad had said to his lawyer, now I don't talk to my immediate family. I don't talk to my mom. I don't talk to my stepdad. I don't talk to my brother or my sister on that side. But I talk to other family members and they get back to me. And plus I know people in the small town we live in and they'll give me updates on the family, so to speak. But my stepdad told my brother's lawyer, he goes, yeah, he's got one other brother, not two. He's got two, me and my brother. And he said he's got one other brother who passed away of a heroin overdose and we never saw it coming. And I don't want the same to happen to this brother. Okay, here's the thing. He's got two brothers. He's got one that passed away and me. Secondly is my brother overdosed 4 times. What do you mean you never saw it coming? But that's his way to compartmentalize, I should say, things and put them in a way. And I'm sure he never thought that this lawyer could do his due diligence and find out, no, that other brother overdosed 4 times and he has 2 brothers and one is doing okay. But that's his way of lessening his role and everything. Like, oh, we never saw it coming, man. No, I mean, my brother's in there throwing out flares in the ocean. Like, I need help. I'm drowning. Somebody help me. And, you know, I talk about my family a lot in my podcast, but I had a lady sent me a tweet and she said she listened to episode 20 and it hit everything on the nose. It's funny how social media, sometimes it can be used for bad, but then other times you get some stuff like this. Her name is Dr. April Horsley. And she sent me this. She said, Gary, she goes, the healthiest one in the family is attacked. They highlight the other's failures, inadequacies, and cause them to see reality and unhealthy dynamics that exist. That's why you are the bad one. So it made sense to me, like, oh, within my family, I'm attacked by my mom and stepdad and my brother and sister because I'm like, yo, this ain't right. This ain't cool. And I'm forcing them to look at themselves. And when you do that, you only can go 2 ways. You can either be like, whoa, let me get some help, or let's work on this together so we can be a family and as healthy as we can. Nobody's perfect, but as healthy as we can get. Or he's lying. And he's the bad one. You know, but I put my track record up as a human being against them any day of the week. And when I posted it on my Instagram, my Twitter, it's funny, and this is another reason where social media can be helpful is I had quite a few people DM me and then also leave messages saying, wow, that's me, or that's what I go through. And it's sometimes good to know you're not alone, because I just think it's human nature to want to belong to something. When those people when you hear people be like, I'm a loner, I don't need anybody. I'm like, bullshit. We all need somebody. We need somebody. Now, granted, I love my alone time. Don't get it twisted. I love my alone time. But you always want to feel a part of something. You always want to feel wanted and loved in some kind of form or fashion. Nobody's just an out-and-out loner. Nobody wants to be Denzel in Book of Eli, just running around. I mean, you'd like to be a badass like Denzel in that movie, but nobody just wants to be that dude. And, you know, I hate when people say that stuff like, I don't need nobody else. They'll make posts on social media. If you know me, you know I don't need nobody. I'm like, I do. I need somebody. Jeez. You can only jack off for so long. You want somebody. I was just thinking, man, if there was ever like the Walking Dead type shit, I tell you what, my standards would be lowering daily. I'd be banging some wildebeest if it was the Walking Dead. Good, because I always said, I know my wife and kids wouldn't make it. No way. I know my wife and kids. Walking Dead happened, I'm alone in this world. I just have pictures. I'll be the one crying over their deaths. Now, my stepson, Emilio, my oldest son, he might make it. He'd have to cut his dreads, but he might make it to Walking Dead. But my daughter, Kennedy, and my wife, Kenya, good luck. Good luck. Because you know what they would do? I'd be telling them what to do, and they would be like, no. Are you sure? We shouldn't be doing that. Would you shut the fuck up? These zombies are coming. Do what I say, woman. What? You don't talk to me like that. I just did. We'd be in an argument. I think that's why you don't see a lot of black people in The Walking Dead. You see a few, but you don't see a ton. I think the husband and wife duo in The Walking Dead hasn't happened yet because they be arguing. Let's go. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. You ain't my boss. What? Now, all of a sudden they bit. And then the dude is like, I told this motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Get in the basement. You gotta hurry up. Don't be yelling at me. Don't be yelling at me. Bit. I think that's why you don't see a lot of black couples in The Walking Dead. Then you got Rick with Michonne. You got about the most untalked about interracial couple in TV right now is on The Walking Dead. Rick and Michonne. Because Rick is really a redneck in the show. And Michonne is a sister. Like, I think Michonne before the zombie breakout was dashiki wearing, incense burning type sister. Like, I could see her being like at an Erykah Badu concert, calling Tyrone and singing it. But then you got Rick, who's probably at a Conway Twitty concert at the Georgia State Fair with a dip in. He wasn't going to be with no black girls, but look how zombies, all that racial stuff goes aside. That's why I think I love The Walking Dead so much. Rest in peace, Carl. If you didn't watch the last episode, sorry. I just ruined it for you. My fault. But all that kind of tied into my crazy stepdad story. My brother gets sentenced March 13th. Update on my schedule. Again, March, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And then I'm in Pittsburgh, Columbus, and West Nyack the last week of March. And then I don't know once I go into April. So just I always tell people, go to my website. I go to my website for my schedule. It's www.garyowen.com. That's my schedule. It's on there. So I got Pittsburgh in March. I got Columbus in March. And I got West Nyack in March. And then I got Mount Airy Casino, the Poconos, at the end of March. I think March 30th I'm there. So, and then me and the wife are taking a little getaway in March too for 5 days. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to Maui for 5 days. That's one of the islands we haven't been to. I always tell dudes too, man, do not take a girl you're unsure about to Hawaii because you'll say shit in Hawaii you don't mean. I mean, me and my wife, our sex life gets rejuvenated in Hawaii. It's something about that water, man, that salt water and that island. I be telling dudes, man, you'll take a girl over there and you'll be saying, I love you forever, get engaged. And as soon as you get back to LAX, you at the coffee being like, I didn't mean any of that. I didn't mean that. You didn't even get your drink yet. You're like, all right, man, that shit I said yesterday morning on the balcony, that wasn't me. I was shocked last year we went to Hawaii. We went to like a local breakfast spot. I can't remember what island we was on, but it was all locals. And then like a bunch of locals came in and was like, hey, Gary, and like knew me. I go, what the fuck? That's crazy. There was a time I was on a cruise and we took a cab ride like through the mountains of one of I don't know, we was on St. Thomas or something. Because I said, I want some local, authentic Caribbean food. And we get there, and we're like in the woods. We're like in the forest. And the lady comes out and goes, Gary Owen, comedian? I go, what the fuck? Do you have TV? I looked around like, how did she know anything? And this is like 2010 before I was in like Think Like a Man and Ride Along and stuff. I was like, what the hell? I was shocked, but you just never know. So anyways, I appreciate you guys listening. Go to GaryOwen.com for my schedule. And I'll see you guys next week. Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast.